Learning the harp was a bucket list experience for me, and today I'm going to be sharing some of my experiences and thoughts as I reflect on those 3 months that I spent learning the harp. I don't really know what you guys want from these kinds of videos, or if you do want these kinds of videos, so feel free to tell me in the comments what you guys want to hear as I wrap up each instrument. I'm going to share some of my thoughts, and at the end, I'm going to play the video of my last performance on the harp. So stick around if you want to see and hear the culmination of my 3 months of learning the harp, starting from complete scratch as a total beginner. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to get straight into it. Learning the harp was a fulfillment of a very, very long dream that I've had. I fell in love with the harp a long time ago when I was in middle school. So starting in middle school, I asked my parents if maybe we could go check out harps that I could rent, and maybe I could go get a teacher who would be willing to teach me harp. That never really came to fruition, but once I got into college, I realized they offer harp as a class here, and if it's something that I've wanted to do for so long, for these years and years, this is my time to do it. So when I got into college, I signed up to take a harp class, and it was awesome. I'm so glad that I did it. I don't regret it at all in the slightest. I would never take back the time that I spent playing harp. I would never switch that time out for anything else. I love playing the harp. It was incredibly challenging, probably a little more difficult than I initially thought it was going to be, but this was truly the first time that I had taken it upon myself to really learn an instrument, to dedicate myself to learning an instrument. I had learned instruments in the past. I had piano lessons as a kid, as I'm sure many of you guys had. But this was the first time that I really said, I'm going to learn this instrument, and it's going to be my job to learn it. I'm going to pay to receive these classes, and I'm going to completely shoulder the burden of learning this instrument myself. I was responsible for all of my practice time. I was responsible for how much progress I made. I was responsible for what I was going to get out of the class, which maybe isn't the same as how it had been for my other instruments when I was much younger. So looking back on it, I can see how much I've grown learning the harp, and I can say that I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm happy with what I've done in learning the harp, and I know that it's not despite how much time I've had to spend. It's really the time that I've dedicated to it, and not necessarily the outcome, that has meant the most to me in learning to play the harp. Now, with that being said, I am happy with the outcome as well. When I look back at where I was at the start of learning the harp, I knew nothing. I had absolutely no idea how to do anything. And I've come to the point where I feel comfortable with it. I like what I've done. I can listen to myself play, and I'm just happy knowing that that's me that I'm listening to. I've put time and effort into doing something, and I've come out on the other side knowing that I have made the progress that I wanted to make. If I could go back and do it all again, I've thought about what I might do differently, and honestly, there's not that much. I would have liked to have asked more questions to seasoned harpists, get their opinions on things, ask them for help and advice and technique, because as a beginner, especially when I'm sitting in those practice rooms, practicing by myself for the majority of the week and only seeing my instructor for a half hour once a week, there's a lot of room, a lot of opportunity for mistakes to creep in, and I definitely experienced that, where I would be practicing something for the whole week, and then I'd get to my lesson at the end of the week, and I was doing something wrong, but I didn't know I was doing something wrong because I was alone the whole time practicing. So I would definitely spend more time talking with people who knew what they were doing and observing what they were doing so that I could transfer that knowledge and those skills to my own playing. And the other thing I would change is my attitude towards monotony. I think the part of practice that I hate the most, and probably everybody hates the most, is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and never stopping. The fact is, you have to do those things over and over again. So if you're going to approach repetition with a bad mindset, you're going to have a bad time because you can't escape the repetition. Instead, I would like to approach the repetition and the monotony with a happy mindset, knowing that doing these things, although they may be boring and although they may frustrate me, that's what's actually going to lead me to see the results and get the progress and the growth that I desire for myself. Now, am I going to keep practicing the harp? I want to, but right now I can't. This is going to shock some of you, but in order to practice the harp, I need a harp. And that's something I just don't have right now. But you can bet that when I do get a harp, I will continue practicing it and I will be uploading more videos about the harp. So if you're here for harp content, there may be a little bit of a hiatus, but I promise you when I get that harp, the harp content is coming back. Now, as I said at the beginning, I want to show you all my final performance, my harp recital. After watching it back, I'm happy with it, but not because I think it sounds great. I think it sounds good, maybe even okay, but somewhere in that range from okay to good. I made a lot of mistakes, probably no more than I make on average when I'm practicing, and I took the tempo a little bit slow because I was focusing so hard on not making mistakes, which obviously didn't really work out that well. But the thing is, I'm not upset at my performance. And I don't look at it and say, wow, I could have been better. Because the reality is, yeah, I probably could have been better, but I could also have been a lot worse. I still have a lot to be proud of, and I am proud of it. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to learn something, to try something that was difficult, and push through and actually improve. With the harp, I got frustrated a lot, and I was not good at it for the first 1 or 2 or 3 or a million times I picked up the harp. I was pretty bad at it for most of my time practicing, and for some people, according to some standards, hey, I'm still bad at it. Where's I going with that? But I think the point isn't to be good. I mean, at some point, that's the point. If you're a professional harpist or if you're a professional anything, the point is to be good, but I'm not. So the point for me is not to be good. I think the point for me was to improve. The point for me was to have a challenge and to overcome that challenge, and I think I did that. Despite my harp playing not being amazing, I still feel like my experience was very rewarding because I'm not judging how rewarding my time was based off of how well I play the harp. I'm judging it based off of how much I was able to tackle the challenge that I had set out for myself. The quality of the outcome does not determine how rewarding the experience was. I think that that is reflected very well in this harp journey that I've had. Although the quality of the outcome of my journey might be subpar, and in my opinion, even though I'm very proud and happy with my progress, I would never go pay to listen to someone play the harp the way that I played the harp. But the quality is not the point. The perseverance is the point. I've talked long enough, so here is the performance from my harp recital. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think of my harp journey down in the comments. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these instrument journeys down the road, so if that's something that's interesting to you, I hope you subscribe and join me as I learn every instrument in the orchestra. Otherwise, have a great day, and thanks for watching.